Good evening, my friend. Welcome to WW Radio Live. I am your host and your friend, Lou Mongello. Thank you so very much for being here, spending and sharing your Wednesday night, or if you're watching this on the replay, your Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, whatever it might be. I'm grateful to you and for you for spending some time together. This is my favorite night of the week because I get to be sort of virtually together in a room with friends, whether we have met yet or not. And if you're not watching live, please don't forget to join us every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, both on YouTube and or our Facebook group and page at www.radiolive.com. If this is your first time here, please let me know in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from and what is your favorite extinct attraction in Walt Disney World. Nice segue, Mongello. Thank you. I talk to myself because there's nobody else here other than you. Rich Watts said the music transported me to Jollywood Nights. I dig Dolly. I know it's August. It's almost September. It's basically Valentine's Day. I am so excited for Jollywood Nights this year. I know we haven't even done like Thanksgiving and Halloween and Christmas, but I'm super excited for Jollywood Nights because I dug what the event was last year and I saw the potential for what the event can be in the future. If you are here solely for the announcement and reveal, somehow virtually raise your hand, because I have a feeling that is why a lot of you are here. But we will get to that. I would like to talk just for a minute, because somebody mentioned it, and I see Kenneth Pucci talking about World of Motion. My 5 favorite most missed attractions in Walt Disney World. These are the attractions that I loved, that I missed. Let me quickly address some of the many, often private, comments and first of all, thank you for emailing me, questions I got about this, because I'm going to paraphrase. And basically they were like, Mongello, what the bleep is wrong with you? How did you not mention Mr. Toad's Wild Ride? Like I figured, a lot of you know me very well. You've sort of figured out 4 out of the 5 on my list, but it was not Mr. Toad's Wild Wide, because there's a reason. It was that close to making the list. And the only reason why it didn't is because I can still experience a near copy of it in Disneyland, right? The attraction still exists somewhere else, as opposed to everything else that I talked about on this week's show. None of those attractions, in any form or fashion, may they rest in peace, can we experience ever again. I don't expect Horizons to come back. Journey into Imagination, eventually I'm going to be right. That attraction is going to be reimagined, re-updated, refurbished, re-themed, re-whatevered, but it will never sort of capture that special essence and almost innocence of that first attraction when it was a brand new characters, a brand new type of experience, a very long attraction. Remember, the attraction we have now is almost 40% shorter than what that original attraction is, and certainly we don't have that original version of Figment, and we have lost the Dreamfinder, although I feel it in my little imagination-y bones that the Dreamfinder will in fact return someday. Different form, maybe closer to the comics. I don't think that we have seen the end of Dreamfinder just yet. Kimberly Hazard already has her Jollywood tickets. I am clearly way behind. I have been running around like a crazy person. Forgive me if I said this already. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and we were just talking about like my schedule, and like I showed her my calendar, and she's like, "My God, Mongello," and I said, "Yeah, it's fine." I'm like, I'm planning on taking like some time and like a day in November, and she's like, "Do you understand how wrong that's?" I'm like, "I know," but so I'm a little bit behind on things, and I have to get my Jollywood tickets. Maybe let's do a WW Radio Jollywood night together again. I'll have to look at the calendar and my calendar and ticket availabilities and see if we can do that again, because I'm excited for it. There's a lot that I really dug about it that I think is going to be even improved upon this year. In terms of people and so Dolly Adventurers Club was super, super, super close. And the only reason why I didn't make the list is because I didn't want there to be any sort of like internal hypocrisy for myself, because it's the thing that I talk about when we talk about some of the other attractions that are going away. Like, yes, I missed the Adventures Club, but did I really go to the Adventures Club as often as I could have or should have if I truly did miss it? Like, if I loved it as much as I say that I do, it was not something I did every single time that I went. So I don't want to be a hypocrite and add it to the list, and that's why I didn't. And it's why I really, and let me know, by the way, if you like the solo My Five shows. I was super nervous. I'm going to admit, I was super, super nervous the first time I did it, and I'm really starting to enjoy it. And I like the self-limiting of the five. I didn't go crazy with honorable mentions, but I like the self-limiting because it makes, I think, the list more impactful as opposed to when Tim and I do a top 10 and we mention 47 things. So I hope you're enjoying it. And again, I welcome any feedback, positive, negative, or otherwise. Beatrice is just here. Beatrice is like, I just want to hear, just make the announcement already and get on with it, Mangello. Gary Witt from beautiful Lake City, Colorado, Mrs. Magical Express. I think that you are not alone. I think the only people that don't miss it, Magical Express, are the Uber and Lyft drivers. So Brett Bowen, the Epcot parades plural, Tapestry of Nations, Tapestry of Dreams is the one that is now living rent-free, as the kid. Did they still say that? Probably not. It still lives rent-free in my head, and it's the song that I hear as soon as I say the words Epcot Parade. Great movie ride, Michael Wilk. Again, it's. I love the Great Movie Ride, and I loved it for nostalgic reasons. Going through wishing like, wow, I wish they could swap out this scene. I wish they could update the finale movie. I wish there was something that was this continuous living, breathing, but you run into that problem. How do you update the Great Movie Ride? Who are you updating it for? It's the same conversation. Is it us? Is it our generation? Is it, Gen X? Is it millennials? Like what movies do you put in that are going to appeal to a broad spectrum of the audience now from around the world, right? So many international visitors, that is going to not feel dated or unrelatable the moment you put it in. Because the problem with Great Movie Ride was the same thing. You would take young kids, and other than maybe Wizard of Oz, they would have no idea who 91.73%, that's an official number, 91.73% of the characters, the actors and actresses, and certainly the movies are as well. A lot of love coming in for the Osborne Lights. I agree. I think the Osborne Lights was such a simple-ish, but beautiful and wonderful. What I liked about Osborne Lights, I should have had a conversation with somebody about this today. It was the communal experience. Like, we all just stood there, sometimes shoulder to shoulder. We didn't care. Like, just looking up in awe, or in my case, laying down on the side street so I can see the canopy above me, in awe of just how beautiful they were. It doesn't matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter what holiday you celebrate. Like, there was just something simply wonderful and beautiful about the Osborne Lights. I was convinced, and this is not the first or last time I will be wrong, I was convinced that they were going to, because they did like the ABC Christmas Light Night Bright Fight, whatever it's called, I was like, all right, they're going to give the Jennings family, the Osborne family, back their lights. They're going to recreate something like this, but like on Main Street USA or somewhere else in Hollywood, and nothing. Mangello, you're wrong again. But I would love to. I wish it wouldn't have gone away, and I wish that could have come back. But there's a lot happening that we know of, and there's a lot that we don't know of. The announcements are not done yet. I would not be surprised if we don't get another announcement before the end of the year. I'm just going to throw that out there. So Gary Witt also says the original, click it, Mangello, the original test track. Rob Stewart says Maelstrom. Again, did you ride Maelstrom every time you went? My dad did. My dad loved the final scene. And I love that. I love the exit cue of Maelstrom. I love that sort of just the simple, sort of quiet Norwegian town. That was the part that I enjoyed the most. Kevin say the backstage studio tour, when it was remember it was a 3-hour, it was a 2-hour tour, when the backstage tour was truly like a 2-hour backstage walking and tram experience. that was sort of the peak of when the studios were truly the studios. And unfortunately, again, it's the same thing, right? We love those things. We were sad to see them go, but look what we got in exchange or return. Margot Pitt says, I miss Ellen's Any Adventure, Stupid Judy, and Alien Encounter, Bon Voyage. Any attraction that has Tim Curry in it, I miss already. Poor Skippy. Where is poor Skippy? He's working at the Chick-fil-A along with the Dreamfinder. Jim Roskin says the solo shows are good. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Deborah says, I love the My 5 shows. Kimberly says, my Hollywood tickets are for December 2nd. So if you want to have a meet, then I would not object. Yeah, I will look. If somebody could remind me, because you don't even want to, forget the whiteboard. You don't want to see what this desk looks like. I got I have irons in the fire and plates I'm doing a lot. I'm doing like this both at the same time. Matthew Woolley says, the Barbie show in Epcot. I am not sure Matthew Woolley is sincere about that. If so, I want proof, Woolley. I want pictures of you at the Barbie show or with your Barbie collection. That's fine. Jim Orahowski says, Spectrum Magic. Now I can hear sort of that's the blare of the trumpets. I can see those sort of scary. Remember when the Spectrum Magic guys on the sort of mobile bubble things had those white masks on, like those glow-in-the-dark white? A little creepy. Possibly nightmare fuel for some of the younger kids in the house. Let me see. It says, if living rent-free isn't a thing anymore, I am uncool. I am. My kids have assured me, if there was any sort of question, I am, in fact, very, very uncool. Allison says, the Mickey Mouse Review. Look at you going super, super, super old school. What if they move the Osborne lights to Disney Springs? And Katie, I would love to see them. And look, the contract with the Osbornes that was sort of renewed year over year, especially at the end, it happens. It's business. Whether it was Disney or the Osbornes, whoever it was, they parted ways and the Osbornes took their lights back. But it's not something that cannot be replicated, right, with updated lights and new technology. And so I was very surprised that they didn't do it. I think there's massive opportunity for it. I understand there's also costs involved, right? It's not the least expensive show to put on and prepare for and install and take down and whatnot. But I loved it like a lot. Jamie says the Skyway wasn't my favorite, but a lot of people liked it. So I like this. I don't normally love like super high attractions. Like I'm not a Ferris wheel guy, but I like the Skyway in Walt Disney World because I always sort of felt this sense of safety and security. Like I never worried. Like I would take a Skyway somewhere else. I'm like, this is it. This is the time it's going to break, and I'm going to be the one that's on it. I never felt that. Remember the Skyway? It was the only Skyway system that had a near 90-degree right turn when you went to Tomorrowland. And there literally used to have to be a cast member standing there who would grab your bucket and help swing it around the 90-degree turn because it couldn't make it on its own. And then it terminated where the restrooms currently are in Tomorrowland near Space Mountain. But people ruin everything. It was a very slow loading, not special need, accessible. People get stupid. They throw things. They do things outside of the bucket. So it's why we can't have nice things anymore, because adults ruin everything. Randall Jackson, this is a great pull. I missed the opening show on the train for the Magic Kingdom that took place outside of the entrance to Magic Kingdom, right? We waited for that train to come in, whether it was the fire chief or one of the other. I missed the citizens of Main Street. I missed the citizens of Disney's Hollywood Studios. I forgot to mention that, but it did sort of help kick off. And it was this like wonderfully simple yet emotional thing when we saw the characters and the family of the day and just that sort of ceremonial opening of Magic Kingdom that we don't get anymore. So let me see. Great movie riders for everyone in Hollywood. So it used to be, Jeff says, I miss the ticket prices from 20 years ago. I think a life. Listen, I miss the A through E ticket books. $1.75 to walk in the door and like a couple of bucks to ride an attraction. You could just sort of hang out otherwise. There was a lot of love for Maelstrom. Marcus Vowell coming in with the Monster Sound Show, which, by the way, oh no, I didn't. It was I did the Drew Carey sound for this week's radio tune at the beginning, which hopefully like you enjoy and try and identify where some of those were from. But Monster Sound Show also, too, a nice, a good pull from way, way back when that I think a lot of people don't necessarily remember. All right, wait, I have to quickly catch up. Amy Cratera, also, nobody believes this is true unless you saw it with your own eyes. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and like Goosebumps were in the Disney MGM studios. So, well, Disney didn't own the Turtles. It's impossible. It's possible. And they were there. And there was like this 7-minute show that they did where sort of the backlot express was and where that sort of passageway past Acme to where the courtyard was by the Streets of America. That's where the Turtles would come out with April O'Neil in the van and the whole 9 yards. But alas, Corey Roth says Disney Quest. As a video game nerd and somebody who like grew up playing, I love Disney Quest. But again, I can't even use the word. I liked it a lot. like most of the girls in high school and college, they liked me as a friend. I liked Disney Quest as a friend because I really did appreciate it, but I didn't go because that was one of the places that started to show its age, not just in terms of it wasn't being kept up and that there was a little cheesecake factory inside that was never open, but the technology sort of got left behind even in, so do you remember there was sort of like the Jungle Cruise rowing thing and the pirate stuff. It didn't necessarily keep up. And unfortunately that's why it got left behind relatively quickly. Let's see. I have a vague memory of the Mike Fink keelboats, but I'm sure you needed a good cast member. The Mike Fink keelboats was one of the things that, again, not very long-lived, not very accessible, but it was I liked the attractions on the water, which is one of the reasons why I will, in fact, miss Tom Sawyer Island and the Rivers of America. Alas, let's not go down that River of America. Kendall Foreman says, I've got one for you, not just one, Munchell. I'm going to give you the list. Skyway, Backlot Tour, Horizons, Dream Flight, not If You Had Wings. She's a Delta girl. Wait, where are they? I'm a Delta girl. I don't know why. Somebody came to me on a flight last week. He's like, oh, Mr. Mangello. I was like, that was my dad, but okay. He's like, here, you're a valued blah, 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 blah. Here's your wings. And I was like, oh, I haven't gotten wings since I was like, I never got wings, but they were Eastern Airline wings, but now I've got my Delta wings. Legend of the Lion King and one Mr. Toad and his very wild ride. Becky Menken hated Alien Encounter. She hated the children inside and Alien Encounter. I can hear her saying, oh my God, but it's true. She did not like the feeling of the hot. I like that. I like that sort of multi-sensory experience. Like I know some people didn't like It's Tough to Be a Bug because you sort of felt the little critters like by your feet, but I like that sort of 4D experience that you got in attractions like that. But one of the things that we talked about is, and this is, again, longer conversation for another day, but as you make attractions that are more intense, more scary, you do start to leave out and leave behind a certain segment of the guests and a certain demographic. And whether it is an attraction that is inaccessible for physical reasons or inaccessible for reasons like that, as a business owner, which Disney is, you want to try and mitigate that as much as possible. So I don't get to use the word mitigate a lot. So mom and dad, there's your law school money coming to good use. Tater says the Swan boats, ride them as a kid every single time. I did a show, if somebody could look it up, I did a show about the Plaza Swan boats because that too, it was around for a while and it's like there were interesting stories about how like the skippers would crash the boats all the time. But when it was operational, which was usually only during the summer season, you got spectacular, unique views of Magic Kingdom because you went from the Swan boat landing in Tomorrowland where the Rose Garden is and now nothing is. But if you're entering Tomorrowland, that sort of little area, that little lagoon on the left-hand side was where but You went like through the castle moat, under the bridge, which is why the bridge by Crystal Palace is arched, because the swan boats went underneath. You went from Main Street USA, basically, into Adventureland, around the Jungle Cruise, and then came back. And it was a beautiful sort of maybe 20 or so minute, gosh, was it a C ticket attraction? D ticket? Somewhere around there. But one of those things too, expensive to maintain, boats were crashing all the time, not accessible, blah, 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 blah. So, Kendall Foreman, stop it, because now I can hear that very 90s Mickey mania in my head. This is joining all the other voices that are in my head, now I hear the dialogue of Mickey mania. Surprise, now I hear Surprise in the Sky. I can hear that sort of triumphant trumpet blast of the announcement of Surprise in the Skies. Just watch out for any sort of falling kites and balloons and whatever else might have. Let's see. Becky just keeping it positive, which is what I love. How about things you don't miss? I don't miss Body Wars. Man, Becky's on her front lawn screaming, Body Wars, leave. Body Wars, directed by Mr. Spock, Leonard Nimoy. I liked Body Wars. Body Wars, Zulus 174. Like, there's a connection to Animal House. There's a connection to Star Trek. The splinter in the left finger. Like, I dug Body Wars for, because it sort of harkened back to, like, the Fantastic Voyage movie and multiple sort of movies about the similar thing, like from the 50s, 60s, even in, I think there was one even in the 70s. So I kind of dug it. I know you don't like the moving around because you spill your drink and things like that, but there wasn't a lot of children on that one, Becky, so I thought you would enjoy it. Mark, this may be one of my favorite ones. He misses the party line phone in Magic Kingdom. It's one of those things that, like, there's no reason to take this. I mean, I'm sure there's reasons to take it away that I am not privy to. And I'm grateful that many, many moons ago, I went to Magic Kingdom, I watched the welcome show, and I watched as people made the dash to splash, rest in peace, or the race to space. Sorry, other way. Not me. I made the run to the chapeau because I went there and I wanted to be as quiet as possible, and I knew there'd be not a lot of people there. And I sat there with my recorder, and I took that little handset off, and I just sat there, and I recorded the entire loop, which is pretty long. I think it's like 25 or so minutes, but unfortunately that too, gone but not forgotten. So let me see. Let me catch up. Gosh, I mean, there's a lot of really, really good. Chuck Munson said Superstar TV, not Superstar Limo, Superstar TV. Grace Corba from MEI Mouse Fan Travel, missing Tapestry of Nations and Dreams and all. I like Tapestry of Nations, if you remember, was a parade that actually stopped intentionally. And the Dream Seekers would actually go out into the crowd and would give, like, kids these little, they were like, I don't remember if they were like cards or tokens where you could, like, write down your dream and they would put it in the Dream Seeker machine. Like, there was almost sort of an interactive element to the parade that was very, very long and went the entire way around World Showcase Promenade. I would love to see something like that again. Remember the mini parades they did post-COVID? Like those little surprise and delight, like princess parades they did? Not quite Tapestry. Let's say Evan Garcia, Ace Ventura, also joined. I mean, he wasn't with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but he was the 90s in Walt Disney World. Very, very, I think we did a show. Yeah. Can somebody look this up for me, please? I know we did a show like 10 things in Walt Disney World you can't believe ever happened, or some sort of title that probably, hopefully, flowed better than that. Alex said, first time catching the show, but listening on or off since 2014. My favorite extinct attraction is Primeval Whirl. That's pretty close. That's pretty recent. It's funny because I went to Animal Kingdom a few weeks ago. My son wanted to ride Dinosaur for his last time. He's very sad. And it was the first time I had seen, like, there is like Primeval World's gone. Like it's not just closed. It's just there's nothing left. There's just a construction wall and shattered dreams and memories. Although Becky's going, I hated Primeval World too. Good riddance. Top 10 attractions Becky is happy to see gone. Captain EO. I loved Captain EO. I loved Michael Jackson. I loved Michael Jackson. And you want to talk about an attraction where like ridiculous amounts of money were invested in. Captain EO is it. But I dug it. I love the music. I love the visuals. I'm a total nerd, and I will stand by that. So, let me see. Let me quickly catch up. Anybody remember the Fantasyland Dragon? I was convinced that the Fantasyland Dragon was going to come back with new Fantasyland, and then I'm like, oh, well, that's fine. They're just saving it for Pandora, and we're going to get flying banshees. And I go into Pandora and I look around every so often, and I have yet to see a flying banshee. But rumor has it that down the street in that dark place that begins with a U, and I say it that way because it drives Becky crazy, dragons are flying. Dragons are flying in Epic Universe. So I don't know why it has never come back in Walt Disney World. Hunchback of Notre Dame show in MGM, which is also MGM. I think it was one of the best stage shows ever put on in Walt Disney World. It was beautiful. It was high energy. It was super hot because it was an open air theater, but it was a really, really good. I love the music from Hunchback. So, all right, let me quickly catch up because I know why a lot of you are here and you're like, Mangello, enough with the nostalgia. Let's move forward. Let's get into not just the present, but into the future. Tonight, could you give us a few bars of Blood on a Saddle? Chauncey Friend, who is my friend, we've known each other a long, long time, you and your wife, and I still remember going with you guys to Tony. Was that the last time I've been to Tony's Town Square for a meal? Possibly 10 years ago, maybe. I need to do a review. Because I haven't been since it's been updated. Watch. If only there was anybody who would go, Tony's is going to be tough. Like, I'm Italian from New Jersey. My last name ends in a vowel. So especially since now I've now found really good Italian food in the area, Simply Capri and Il Molino. I'm looking at you. That's can Tony's Town Square bring it? I don't know. Mickey's Birthday Land, Minnie Moo, may you rest in peace. 20,000 Leagues, I'm totally on board with you. Lori Oliveri says, I missed the Wild Horse Saloon, which she's calling the Wild Horse Antenna Salon, which may be a jumble of a couple of different things. If you went to the Wild Horse Salon, that's on you, but I went to the Wild Horse Saloon. I actually liked it better when it was the Fireworks Factory. I remember going with my dad. My dad loved the barbecue at Fireworks Factory, and I still, somewhere in that closet, I don't know why I have it, but I used to sort of grab matchbooks because it was a thing, 70s and 80s. A lot of the restaurants had matchbooks with logos on it. So I have matchbooks from places like Wild Horse, Fireworks Factory. I think I have one still from the Polynesian. I have Polynesian soap. I have a bar of soap like wrapped in Polynesian wrap. I don't know what I ever intend on doing with it, but it's there. Christy Visaki, long time no see. Kendall Foreman, the Singing in the Rain umbrella. Oh, like simple little things like that, right? Those are the things sometimes that I missed over some of the bigger attractions. Deb misses the Great Piggy Bank adventure in the studios. Let me quickly catch up. Dolly says, how about the video conferencing at guest services in Epcot? We used to make all of our dinner reservations the minute we got into the park. It was something to look forward to because that was like futuristic technology. Like you were picking up a phone that still had a wire attached to it, and you were having a video call with somebody at the central reservation system. That was the fastest and easiest way to make dining reservations. And it was just super cool because such a thing didn't exist. So Kendall says, yes, it was a show with me, 2-part show, because that's what happens when Kendall and I get on the phone together, on things you can't believe ever happened in Walt Disney World. Barbie, I'm also looking at you. Lakota Matson says, hello from Philly, go Giants. Sorry, it's almost football season, and I'm still bitter about Saquon Barkley. Mike Beckerman says, you went to Animal Kingdom, it's out. It's on the bubble periphery. But the fact that I went to Animal Kingdom in the summer for one attraction, if my kids ever doubt that I love them, if we ever need to go to court and we're like, that's the moment right there. Like I took like a special trip to Animal Kingdom just to ride Dinosaur. I didn't even eat anything. So it's a double, like triple whammy. All right. Let me quickly catch up as best as I can. I'd love to see a new Captain EO done with Bruno Mars, or Muppets. Captain EO with Muppets. Everything is better with Muppets, and I don't want to even go, I'm not going to go down that road as well. Grace Corba misses Tarzan in Animal Kingdom. We're not going to have a conversation as to who or why, how you miss Tarzan. Becky says, you know what else I miss? I'm going to get Becky like an angry cane just so she can wave. The pot roast mac and cheese. Some guy talked about it on a video and it went, I think she's talking about me. Kevin Shea misses the Luau dinner show at the Poly. That was one of those things, like, it was fun and it was campy and it was cheesy, but it was like, there was a wonderful level of authenticity to it. How they really did bring a little bit of the islands to Florida. You didn't necessarily go for the food unless you were going for volume, but I did like the experience of walking there and the lit tiki torches at night. It made, especially early on, if you're thinking back to like late 70s, early 80s, it made staying at the Palm, like it was the Walt Disney World resort, right? Because the going and staying at your resort was very much an integral part of your experience. Because remember, there was only Magic Kingdom. So once Magic Kingdom ended, it was important that they had things to do at night. It's why things like the Top of the World Supper Club was able to attract, at the time, like A-list, B-list stars. Mel Torme, I'm looking at you, Mel. Not that I've ever saw the Velvet Fog, but I know the Velvet Fog actually did sing there. My announcement is not I promise you, it is not a 50-hour show. Becky says they still have PSD from the 40th. All right, so I know that's why you're here. I know that's what a lot of you are looking for. Actually, wait, hold that thought for a second. I need to take care of something very quickly.
This door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone. Hollywood, 1939. Amid the glitz and the glitter of a bustling young movie town at the height of its golden age.
I know what you're thinking. I know what you are thinking, or maybe what you are hoping for. That was, in fact, a very deliberate little tease. Corny as it was, I needed to somehow figure out a way to segue from looking from the past into the future, which is also looking into the past. So I know what you might be thinking, because in the past, we have actually done not one, but two events at the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror after park close. Actually, you might even have been there for this event. This is an event we did called Twilight at the Tower, which was an after-hour, very special event that they had never done before. They created with us, for us, and Becky, I'm sure, will agree with this, one of our most special, most unique, and I think, one of the events that we just enjoyed so very much. It was this, like, it was, and the blessing and the curse of this event was it was less than 30 people, right? It was very small, up on the balcony by the entrance to the lobby, where there were some interactive experiences. And then, as you saw in that picture, we were actually allowed to go into and explore the lobby of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. That's not what's happening this time. Why? Because 30 people went in and not 30 people came out. Like the tower itself, we had a few disappearances that night. And unfortunately, we will never, ever, at least for now, be able, nobody really disappeared. I'm just sort of trying to build suspense. We will probably never be able to do that again. So if you were there and if you survived, you were part of something special. But I do love that event. And we have actually been trying for years, because a lot of you have asked. We have tried for years to bring that event back. And unfortunately, it can't, but took some inspiration from that event. So on Saturday, October 26th, 2024, from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m., we're going to do something also that has never been done before. We're not going to take you to the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Instead, we're going to bring it to you, because we're going to have an evening at the Tip Top Club. Saturday, October 26th, we are going to, now it can't be at the Tip Top Club. It's not at the Tower of Terror because the elevator to the top floor is broken. So we're going to bring the Tip Top Club to you with an evening of dinner, dancing, some surprises, and a live band. Now, unfortunately, it is not going to be the Anthony Fremont Orchestra because they were wished away into a cornfield somewhere. If you know the reference, you get the reference. And if you look at the Tip Top Club sign at Hollywood, I love Twilight Zone, by the way. Anthony Fremont was the orchestra that was playing there, which was a reference to one of my favorite episodes of Twilight Zone. So it's not going to be the Anthony Fremont Orchestra. However, it is going to be a band that I've seen a number of times in different locations that I fell in love with, right? Because I dig this era, I dig this music. And let's just say that this band has performed at the Tip Top Club before. If you went to Jollywood Nights last year and you went to the Twilight Soiree at the Tip Top Club in the courtyard of the Tower of Terror, this band may seem familiar to you. There are also a few surprises in store that I cannot tell you for a variety of reasons. But I invite you, I welcome you to come in your 1930s best, your tea gowns, your broad-shouldered suits, your fedoras, like the glitz and glamour of old Hollywood can be created as much or as little as you like. If you want to come in shorts, that's fine too. Now, ticket sales. This too is also going to be a limited event. And this event takes place the day after our Halloween on the High Seas cruise. However, we decided that we did not want to create something that was going to be exclusively for those people who came with us on the cruise. So we got, and when I say we, you know, I mean me and Becky and I, we got creative and were able to do some things. This way we could make the event larger, a little bit broader, to allow more people to come in. So your save the date is for Saturday, October 26th from 7 to 11 p.m. Another date that you're going to want to save is next week. I'm going to give you information about when and how tickets are going to go on sale so you understand. Tickets are going to be released in this order. On Monday, they're going to be made available to WWW Halloween on the High Seas cruise members. You have 24 hours of exclusive access to tickets. After that, I will open those up to WDW Radio Nation members on Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. I will send an email to the cruise members as well as post in our private cruise group with a link for the Nation. I will also post in the Nation group, and I will send a message via Patreon with a link to where you can purchase tickets. On Wednesday, September 4th, I will open up tickets to you and anyone from the community that would like to do it. Again, assuming that tickets are going to be available. I hope that they will, because my feeling is the more, the merrier. I will post the ticket link in the clubhouse that morning. I will also send it via the newsletter that day. I obviously can't email everybody individually, so it's really important that you pay attention. Whichever group you might fit in, that's where you should be looking. And just so you know, this event does not happen for many reasons and in many ways without the help and the support and the generosity of Mouse Fan Travel. I say, I make a lot of jokes about Becky, but they are incredibly generous in order for us to get the tickets, not just to this price, because ticket events are very expensive to put on at Disney. This is not a money-making event. This is an event that we do because we just love this community and want to do cool stuff together. But Becky is also donating $20 per ticket. So $20 of your ticket price is being donated to the Dream Team Project to benefit Make-A-Wish. So know that there's a lot of good that comes at and through and with this event. So again, you can screenshot this depending to see sort of what group you are a member of, if there's multiple overlaps of groups. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Becky. But again, we are going to bring the Tip Top Club to you, something that has never, ever been done before. I am super excited for this. It's also like Halloween time. It's like spooky time. Like everything about this just appeals to me on so many levels. And I really hope, first of all, I want to thank Becky and Mouse Fan Travel for making this happen. And two, I hope that you are able to join us for what I think is going to be a very, and I want to, it's not a surprise if you talk about the surprises, right? I'm easily bribed. Sushi and sake, I'm like Elaine with the vault. I'll just sort of let it all come out. But we are still working on some cool ideas for this. Dave Brookover, great question. Becky, correct me if I'm wrong. You do not need a park ticket for this event, nor do you need a park reservation, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 87.423% sure that is true. I am specifically not telling you where the event is. All I'm telling you is that it is at Disney's Hollywood Studios. My intent was to be at Disney's Hollywood Studios tonight. The weather had other ideas, at least when I was getting ready to go, which is why I was scrambling tonight, getting these graphics prepared. I was going to go to the Tower of Terror, but it is not at the attraction, but it is going to be in a secret location where we bring the Tip Top Club to you. And I think that's probably Becky will probably be mad if I say anything else. Yes, Mia, you can dress in theme. If you want to come in your 1930s best, you want to get all dolled up, go for it. Like, I started to think today, I'm like, okay, it shouldn't hopefully be 107 degrees outside. Maybe I'll do it up. Maybe I'll go to Goodwill. I'm sure there's like a 1930s suit I can find in Goodwill or in my closet. But I love this idea. It's why I liked Jollywood. I liked sort of that retro feel and vibe. I loved that section of the event more than any other part of it because I dig this era. People always ask, if you could be born in another time, what would it be? It would probably be around this time. It was a simpler time. I dig the music from the 30s and the 40s. I love the way people got dressed up every day. It was a very elegant time. So, it is at Hollywood Studios. Becky confirmed you do not need a park ticket. It is not, I can tell you this, it is not going to be an Oga's Cantina. It is not going to be an Oga's Cantina. I want to tell you more, but Becky is already threatening me with insane amounts of violence. I just can't believe she's not really texting me, but deep down she's close. She's got her finger on the button in case I stay too much. But it is not going to be in it is not going to be in Galaxy's Edge. I can promise you. So they're closing Galaxy's Edge and replacing it. I'm kidding. They're not closing Galaxy's Edge. So there you go. So that is the save the date announcement. We have actually been sitting on this idea for a long time. We just finally got, and we're still waiting on a couple of other details that I can't share because we don't have details. But we've been working on this, and again, huge thanks to Becky for all the time and the effort in helping to put this together. Claire says, is this event for adults only? We know what, Becky and I haven't talked about a minimum age yet. It probably, I don't know that, a 9-year-old would love this event. But it's not like, we're going to be doing shots at the Tip Top Club. So I will talk to Becky and I will get you I don't want to misspeak and give it an age without knowing specifically what it is going to be. So, Jason, I will also not be singing Let It Go. I might be singing, but not, it is definitely not going to be Let It Go. So let me just quickly see if there are any other questions that need to be answered. Tom Ecker says, put me in a flatbush dress and let me shake. Listen, man, you go do you. Whatever works for you, make it happen. But as we get closer, I will have more details because there may be some cool... You might want to come in your 1930s best. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. And we'll have more. So, David, it's going to be a dinner. And it's not just snacks. It's going, listen, I never let anybody go home hungry from an event, unless it's a meet of the month where it's a BYO thing. But this is going to be, Becky's yelling, stop. I'm just trying to answer questions. I'm going to have to go. First of all, I have to go because I have to prepare something else for tonight before, end of day today. We will have more details and more information as we start to get closer, and certainly once ticket sales open up. But Becky is yelling at me, and I'm sure an angry email is. Ooh, Corey says I'll take it in origami if you give us one more surprise. Oh, wait a minute, Becky. There's some offers that I cannot turn down. If I give you one more surprise, what can I tell you that Becky won't murder me for? Probably nothing. There's probably nothing that I can say that Becky would not want to murder me for. So, Chauncey friend, I can neither confirm nor deny. I didn't giveaways. Who said giveaway? I did not. I really need to go. I really have to. I should probably go and not have. I should not get myself into trouble. All right. Thank you so very much for being here. I sincerely appreciate you being part of tonight's fun and festivities. Let's play a little tower background music as we make our way out. Couple of quick reminders for you. Becky, I think if somebody wants to jump on the cruise in October, they can still do it, right? There's a cabin or two left. If not, you can also join us on the Treasure in February, which I'm super excited for. February 8th to the 15th, we're going to be on the Treasure for a week. It's also going to be our 20th anniversary, so there's going to be a lot to celebrate there. Don't forget too, we have our Adventures by Disney to Disneyland and Hollywood. We added a second date, our Seine River cruise, as well as Japan. There are, I believe, for each of those, there's maybe one, depending on possibly two. So our Seine River cruise is going to be September 18th to the 25th. We're also obviously going to have to go see Disneyland Paris. Our Disneyland adventure is going to be July 6th through 11th. I believe that's where there are 2 spots available, and I think there's only 1 spot left for the trip I am waiting for, more than anything, which is our trip back to Japan. Very quickly, if you are interested in coming to Momentum, I think now we are down to 2 spots left. You can learn more by going to LouMongello.com. Use discount code LOU200 and save $200. And if you're not quite ready for Momentum yet, I invite you to check out my $7 5-day email mini course to help you start building momentum and launch your business, your dream business, so you can turn what you love into what you do. And whether you're coming with us on one of our adventures or you're creating an adventure on your own, please also don't forget to visit our friends over at Mousefan Travel, without whom our Tip Top Club event could not happen. Yes, Becky, I know we need dates for a lot of other things as well. So thank you again so very much for joining me tonight, for being part of not just this community, but this extended family that I love and appreciate so very much. See if I can make it happen. There you go. I made something else. I was on a phone call today, like a business call, like a serious business call. And I did some sort of gesture and all. He's like, "Is that fireworks behind you?" I was like, "Yeah, man, sorry. I don't even remember there it was." I did like something like that, or I made fireworks or balloons happen. So that's what you get when we do business together. Thank you again so very much. If there's ever anything I can do for you, please, please, please reach out to me and let me know. So until next time, I love you. I appreciate you. See ya.